Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 1640 Northwest Rolling Hills Drive here in Beaverton. We are located on the back side of the unit. Looks like we're right next to the water shutoff, and I describe everything as if you're facing the front door of the home from the parking lot in this case. We're checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line, dropping into a 4-inch ABS cleanout. Ooh, yeehaw, broke a clog loose. Look at that. Anyhow, or a partial one anyway. We're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout, and off we go. All right, we're transitioning here over to 6-inch concrete. We put it almost looks like foreign debris there at the transition joint. It's hard to tell what that is. It looks too thin to be a Fernco. I don't know if something's penetrated the joint there or got caught onto it. It's kind of hard to discern what that is exactly. We're going to revisit that on the way back out. There's the main right there. Nice short sewer line, 19 feet, straight shot out into the backyard area here. We're going to let the line drain off here for just a moment. I'm going to do a quick locate, and then we'll pull back and try and take another look at that object there. For the most part, the joint appears to be intact. I don't see anything obvious going on behind it, but we'll see what's going on. All right, located the camera head. Line doesn't run straight away from the house. It runs at a little bit of an angle, kind of a 45 degrees. The line just about goes underneath this tree over here, and then it hits a main lateral just before the walkway. And just for reference, in case you're curious, about 4 foot 9 inches deep there to the main. Actually very pleased to see, at least thus far, I don't see any evidence that roots have penetrated the line here. The object that's in the line, this is something I'm going to recommend be cleaned out. It's hard to tell what it is. It almost has the appearance of like a bent piece of thin metal. From what I can tell here, it doesn't appear to have penetrated the joint. It's kind of an odd one how that got hung up there. So I would just recommend removing it from that standpoint. Thought I saw that thing almost flapping in the air there. If it's something like a piece of paper, it almost looks like it was moving. If it's something thin and light like that, it's probably a low risk that it's going to cause anything. My bigger concern is what may be behind it. If it's got hung up on something, most notably being like a tree root. There's a tree in very close proximity to where this joint is at. It's also a transition joint. These are the most susceptible joints in a sewer line to get a root intrusion. But from what I see here, I don't see any obvious root hairs protruding out from behind it. But I think it's worthwhile to remove that because it's an oddity and it could be covering something up. As far as obstructing flow, it's not doing much to accomplish that as it sits. It's sitting high enough out of the flow line right now that most items would not come into contact with it unless it falls loose or falls down. So I'm less concerned about the item that's there, more concerned about what could be behind it or what caused it to hang up at that joint. So aside from that, the rest of the line there, the concrete's in very fair condition for its age, has good slope and grade. There's no standing water in the line, offset joints, anything of the sort. So aside from a little bit of a question mark there at the transition, everything from the clean out to the main lateral connection has good flow. All appears to be in good condition and functioning properly at this time. I'm going to try and run the camera backwards here. I think the line necks down to 3-inch right as we go back, so it's kind of a tricky spot to navigate. Yeah, it does. It reduces to 3-inch right there. There we go. All right, and essentially everything beyond this point, is this crawl space or slab?
Crawl space.
It's crawl space, okay. Everything beyond this point here is all exposed piping. This is stuff the home inspector looks at when they're down in the crawl space for leaks and whatnot. No issues going through the foundation wall. So, very nicely functioning line as it relates to flow. Just recommend cleaning and a rescope there. Just make sure there's nothing going on at that pipe joint that needs to be addressed. But from a flow standpoint, nothing's being affected. And for something to come into contact with that item, it may not even be something capable of causing a blockage. I can't tell how rigid it is. You'd have to be flushing some fairly large stuff down the line to accomplish that.